Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another episode. Will here today, flying solo. My boy Steve, man's got some family stuff going on, but if you miss him like I miss him, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Steve, we miss you, man. Steve, what's going on, man? Where you at, man? He will be back tomorrow for tomorrow's episode, but today I got some good stuff to talk about. Before I do, I must ask, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out tremendously, and it's free. But if you want to spend some dollars, you can win some stuff like you see on this wall. Got a Calvin Johnson jersey on this wall, some signed helmets, some signed memorabilia, all the type of things we give away to our members. So there's 3 tiers. You can think about becoming a member. You can win gift cards. You can win jerseys. You can win all different types of things. So like we say all the time, it's not required, but it's highly recommended if you want to win some free Detroit Lions stuff. That said, today was a huge day for the Detroit Lions. Why, Will? Why was it a huge day for the Detroit Lions, you ask? Let me tell you. They put them shoulder pads on that day. They put them shoulder pads on. And if you can't tell that I'm pretty excited about them shoulder pads going on. I'm a defensive guy, played defense in college, love the defense. Hey, listen, I'm not biased. I love the offense too. Okay, I am biased, but I love the offense too, but I'm a defensive guy to my heart and my soul. And when them pads come on, that's when them defenders come out to play. So all the talk is out of the window. Pads went on today, and I think that the Detroit Lions got some news, or not necessarily news, but they got some information about who's about business and who may not necessarily like the physicality of the game of football. I'll drop that at the back end of this podcast, along with someone that I feel like is kind of a bubble guy, but I think he's going to be set to make this team. So you guys will be able to tell me if I'm on or if I'm off with that one. But that said, the first thing that I want to get into before I get into that stuff is a little bit of news. So a couple people reached out to me on Twitter today about a player that got released. Some of you might know who I'm talking about already before I even load him into the chat, but it seems like anytime a player in the NFL that's any good gets released, a lot of people are calling for him to become a Detroit Lion. So Christian Wilkins got released today by the Raiders, and I can't. I probably got 10 messages on my phone, and then a bunch of people tagging me and stuff on Twitter or DMing me on Twitter talking about, man, the Detroit Lions should go get him. Man, I can't even imagine him taking a Aleem's spot while Aleem's gone. I can't imagine it either. I think that would be really cool. The problem is Christian wants that paper. This is a guy who's 1 year removed from signing $100 million deal with the Raiders. It's just not a fit for the Detroit Lions. Now, if there was a way that it could happen, I think that it would be really cool to add him to the mix of Tique and Lee McNeil and some of the rookies that we've brought into. DJ Reader as a veteran, just having a stacked interior. Yeah, it'd be cool if we were playing Madden, but this isn't Madden. We don't just have $100 million laying around to give him a contract. I just don't say. And there's some character concerns there. So I'm not going to spend too much time on Christian just because it's not a thing that I believe is really possible. But if we get any news that I'm wrong and it could be possible, then so be it. But there's another guy that the Detroit Lions have had some dialogue with that I am interested in, and I've been pounding the table for this guy. He's a Michigan man, small school guy like myself out of Grand Valley. None other than Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon is a dog. He's 32 years old. He's on the back 9 of his career, most likely. But I think if he comes to a team where, like Detroit, where he can be a rotational piece, he doesn't have to play down in and down out. Maybe some spot moments in some big games. We can, up his volume a little bit. I would love to have Matthew Judon, and I'm extremely excited to hear that the Detroit Lions have had some dialogue with him or his agent about maybe bringing him to Motown. Please, Brad, if it's not Zadarius Smith, please bring in Matthew Judon or get crazy and bring in both of them. I think that they'll both be short-term deals, so I don't think that it would be anything that would break the bank or cripple us or handicap us moving forward long term. $48 million or so that we had, man, to be out there spending some money. Spend Brad, spend a little bit of that cash, man. When I look at Judon, last year of his career, man, with the Atlanta Falcons, it was talked about how the scheme didn't necessarily fit him, but he still found a way to get 5.5 sacks. He's still productive, but we're talking about a guy in 2022 that had 15.5 sacks. This dude can still play some freaking football, man. Matthew Judon excites me. I think he's a little bit more versatile than even Zadarius Smith. If I was picking in between the two, it would be tough. I have an affinity for Zadarius Smith since he's already been here, and I know what he is and I know what he isn't, but I really like Matthew Judon. So I don't know. Either way, I would be happy if we signed either one of them just to get that help. And then we talked about it before, so I won't even beat this one up too much either. Just a little bit of insurance for guys like Marcus Davenport. So Matthew Judon, if you're in Motown, man, I will welcome you with open arms. Think about signing that contract, if not today, early tomorrow. All right. So to the Detroit Lions news from training camp today, them shoulder pads going on. The first thing that I want to talk about is Terrion Arnold being out there. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, football gods. I'm so happy that Terrion and Derek Barnes as well were able to bounce back from their situations where they got a little bit banged up and be out there making plays. Terrion even freaking knocked J-Mo's helmet off today going through a one-on-one drill. So they were out there getting after it today. Love to see it. I truly believe if this Detroit Lions team can stay healthy, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. We already know what the offense is, but I think the defense may shock the world because I don't think the world is really expecting us to be as tough as we can be if guys like Marcus Davenport stay healthy, and then we get guys like Matthew Judon. There's and some other things that I'm going to talk about right now. Let's get into it. Aidan Hutchinson looked dominant today. So the narrative of will he be Aidan of old, or are we going to see him have to progress to where he was at when he got injured? He said it today. The guys that are playing against him or practicing against him have talked about it. Panay Sewell, who he beat in a key practice rep today, are all saying he doesn't look like the same Aidan of old. Looks better. He looks better. Like that. If you know anything about how that guy attacks things, I'm not surprised, but I'm excited and thankful that he's on my squad, man. Young dude and Hassanin, man. Hassanin said today he's watching Aidan's every move. He's learning from him. He's already taught him a lot. I'm excited to see how this thing unfolds through camp, man. I think he got a day better today, and media got an opportunity to talk to him a little bit. Excited to see a little bit more from him. Another thing that stood out to me today as I was going through reading a lot of these observations from training camp was that Marcus Davenport was dominant again. He was dominant again. And say what you will about Marcus Davenport and his injury concerns. When a dude's out there, he's a beast. So football guys, please allow him and just shoot for him. If not even just selfishly for us, for him, allow the dude to get through a season and show the world what he really can do and really can be. So Marcus Davenport putting another brick on building a house of a special season. Super Bowl season is what we're hoping for, playing down there, playing in February. So we'll see about that. But one thing that I'm not sure about, I haven't got any information. So if you know something that I don't know, please put it in the comments. Tique Williams not at practice today. Now, am I in a panic about it? I'm not, because he finished Thursday's practice saying that he felt the best that he's felt. He feels absolutely 100%. He feels fine. So I'm assuming that it's some type of personal issue that kept him out of practice, that isn't necessarily a physical injury type of issue, but I'm sure there'll be a presser tomorrow and we'll find out a little bit more about that. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. And like I said, if you know about it, please drop it in the comments. What's going on with Tique if I missed it and you're already familiar. Last few days, we talked about some things in our linebacker room. We talked about Alex Anzalone's situation. We've talked about some of the young guys like Trevor Nowaski and, them ascending in the right direction. We talked about bringing in guys to come in for visits that maybe could be an answer for this Alex Anzalone situation. I think we might have a guy in-house that we're overlooking. And by us, I mean the media, the podcasters, not the Detroit Lions. Zach Cunningham, from everything that I'm reading, has been playing out of his mind. Zach Cunningham is somebody that it seems like they're not going to bat an eye about throwing in at will linebacker if Alex Anzalone has to miss a little time with his hamstring. Now, I'm going to say it again, as I said it before. I'm pounding the table for us to find a way to sign Alex Anzalone. I want him to be a Detroit Lion. But I watched that film on Zach Cunningham, and dude can play some freaking football. If he has to play some time, or if we need him to be in rotationally, I don't think that we're going to see the same drop off that we saw last year when we had guys coming in and we were watching these running backs and tight ends and slot receivers just feast over the middle of the field. So Zach Cunningham, keep balling, man. I cannot wait to see you in the Hall of Fame game here about a week away. So keep balling, man. Keep doing your thing. Something that you guys need to keep an eye out for as we watch this preseason process unfold, because I think Zach Cunningham is going to help out the Detroit Lions this season one way or another. Whether we have Alex or we don't, they'll find a way to get him in rotationally. Grant Stewart was a guy who stood out on special teams as we expected, and I think he'll be able to offer us some linebacker play as well and be another guy. Today was his day, man. What did he say? His personality is a crash out. He got an opportunity to let that crash out personality. He was being physical today per Tim 20man. So those are guys that I'm excited about, man, but that's not breaking news. Those aren't guys that I think that maybe fans that are really locked in haven't heard about. But there's a guy that's kind of a bubble guy that isn't really a bubble guy to me. I said it earlier during rookie minicamp, and nothing has changed. Dominic Lovett just keeps making plays. He just keeps making plays. Whether it's going through positional drills or whether he's getting his reps on third team and maybe a rep here or there on second team, he just continues to find a way to make plays. I think Dominic Lovett is going to make this team. And it's not an easy path to making this team in that receiver room. It's tough. But I just don't see how you don't keep that young man on this team if he continues doing what he's doing. Every single highlight video that the Detroit Lions put together, I see some snippet of Dominic Lovett making a play. Keep doing what you're doing, young man. I hope that you can break that 53 man roster, man, because I believe in your talents from everything that I've seen from you thus far, man. You've been balling, you've been doing your thing. So getting into some other news, man, that I feel like is the most pertinent news of all. Tate Ratledge spent another day playing right guard. They said he played very well at right guard today. Christian Mahogany played like a dog today. Graham Glasgow, tough, gritty, veteran, have no problem with him playing center. I have no questions about Taylor Decker. I know what he is. And I have no questions, obviously, about Penei Sewell. I think that this offensive line is now in a place that I'm very comfortable with. I've never been one of the people that have been crazy worried about our offensive line situation. I see a lot of people putting in the comments that it's kind of up in the air what they'll be. I've never felt like that. I never felt like, man, with Frank Ragnow retiring, now we're going to go from arguably one of the best offensive lines to in the 20s or something like that, mid 20s or something. Like, I feel like some people they talk about the offensive line now as if we're going to have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I just don't believe that. Will we have the number one offensive line? Maybe not, but I think that's something that we can look to over the next couple of seasons as these guys develop. I think that as these young dogs develop, this is going to be special towards the back end of the season as Tate and Christian Mahogany start to gel with the veterans. Graham Glasgow, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, I'm not worried about. And I know Graham Glasgow didn't have his best season last year, but I think that he was a little bit banged up. I think that he's going to step up and take care of business this season, whether he's playing guard or center. But I said it a long time ago. I think Graham Glasgow will probably end up being our center for this season. Will Tate be the long-term center? Yet remains to be seen. I think them guys are looking really good today from everything that I saw, and I can't wait to see it live in the Hall of Fame game and at practice and these joint practices when I go up there and watch the Detroit Lions get down and get busy. So, guys, are you still worried about this offensive line? Is this something that's keeping you up at night? Because for me, I think that once they put them shoulder pads on today and they said Christian Mahogany is the mauler that we thought, the dirt bag that we thought he was, now I'm feeling great. Once they said that Tate Ratledge was holding his own, taking care of business, and sometimes looking like he was dominant, having dominant moments today, I feel good about it because those veterans already know what they are and what they aren't. I feel good about the guys that we have backing them up, man. If they got to come in and do spot duty, we have a lot of veteran guys that can come in and play spot duty if we need to. So I'm not worried about the depth of these guys either. I think the Detroit Lions are in a great situation, man, because the bottom line is this. If this offensive line is good, Jared Goff is going to keep doing this thing. We already know what Jared Goff is. We already know what these skill position guys are. The only thing that was any question at all was the offensive line. Guys, leave it in the comments. Let me know. How you feeling about this offensive line and what we got? How you feeling about this defense and what we got? Because I think we are finally in Detroit in a complete iron sharpens iron situation. The offensive line has a great defensive line to go against, man. And I know people might question that, but freaking DJ Readers and Aidan Hutchinson's over there, Marcus Davenport's over there. If you think that those guys aren't giving that offensive line a heck of a look, I think you lost your mind. I love our linebacking core, man. I think we got a tough linebacking core, and it's only going to get better as we get healthier. That secondary, I don't even think I got to make any comments about. As I read through all of the practice observations from the different media outlets, all I hear is offense want a rep, defense want a rep, offense want a rep, defense want a rep. These guys are going to sharpen their swords to go out to set this league on fire. So leave it in the comments. Let me know if you think that I'm on par with what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. Let me know how you feel about potentially some of these free agents coming in. Are you still all in on Zadarius? Would you be interested in Matthew Judon? And do you think that Christian Wilkins is a possibility? Steve and I will be back with another episode tomorrow.